You ever feel like you're just too much for other people? Too sensitive, too intense, too emotional? And have you ever been told to calm down when it feels like your entire nervous system is on fire? Well, what if the problem isn't necessarily your emotions? What if it's the way the world expects you to feel? This video is for anyone who's ever been shamed for their emotional intensity, whether you're neurodivergent, emotionally wired for intensity, or shaped by complex trauma. So, where does this too much label come from? The idea here is that emotional neutrality is often seen as emotional maturity, but that is a really narrow standard and one that leaves a lot of us out. People who process emotions intensely, whether due to ADHD, autism, borderline personality disorder, or trauma, often get labeled too much because we don't perform emotions in the right way. But feeling deeply does not make you unstable. Your nervous system plays a different soundtrack. And as a therapist, I see this constantly. Folks thinking their emotions are wrong just because they don't necessarily look right on the outside. With BPD, autism, ADHD, complex PTSD, we have different emotional landscapes. And these conditions all affect how emotions are experienced, but in different ways. Now, remember, these are patterns, not boxes. Everybody's emotional blueprint is different. If you experience it differently, that's okay. BPD, emotions tend to hit fast and hard, especially around abandonment or perceived rejection. Now, with autism, emotions may feel delayed or muted or hard to name. Fancy word for that is alexithymia, especially under sensory or social stress. With ADHD, you might experience fast emotional shifts and rejection sensitivity, not because you're unstable, because your brain reacts quickly and it reacts deeply. And with complex PTSD, you might shut down, freeze, or go numb because your brain has learned that emotions are dangerous. Now, the other thing to think about here is that trauma can layer onto any of these, making it harder to untangle those emotions and even harder to trust. It's not always emotional dysregulation. Sometimes it's just emotional difference. We've been fed the myth that feeling deeply means being out of control, but that's not science, that's stigma. In autism or ADHD, emotion processing may just be slower or more internally focused. And in complex PTSD, what looks like emotional flatness is often your brain's freeze response trying to keep you safe. You know, you don't need to feel less, but you might need better tools to understand and support what you're already feeling, especially if your emotions get in the way of your goals. So, here are some tools that can help. DBT can help you name, validate, and work with your emotions, especially when they feel overwhelming. Sensory regulation tools can help manage shutdown, overload, overstimulation. Self compassion can help you quiet down that inner critic that's in your head telling you you're too much and you're wrong and there's something wrong with you. Trauma informed therapy can help address patterns like freezing, fawning, or emotional numbing. And a comprehensive assessment is always helpful, especially for ADHD, autism, BPD, because clarity brings power. Knowing what the diagnosis is often directs us towards what tools can be most useful. I had a client who said, I thought I was broken. I thought there was something wrong with me. But what actually it was is that it turned out that I needed a different toolkit. And that has always stuck with me. If you've ever been told you're too much, or if you've been quietly wondering if you're just wired differently, I hope this video has been helpful. Now, drop a comment, Have you ever felt like your emotions just didn't fit the room? I'd love to hear how you've navigated it. And please hit the like button, subscribe, share if this resonated. It helps more people find their way here. So I'm really grateful to you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.